Did you grab your ticket to the Ordinary Summit yet? It starts October 14th. Go to theordinarybusiness.com to grab yours. This is the Ordinary Business Podcast for business owners who want honest conversations, a lean business, and an extraordinary life on their own terms. Zara, what's a Threads post that you didn't expect to go viral, but it did?
Anything with my dog. So I remember the first one that went viral was one when I was talking about puppy training, and it went bluesies. And people were giving me all these tips about puppy training. People were telling me I am a horrible dog mom because you know how dog parents are.
Mm-hmm,
You're never right, okay? And I'm like, I can't get this dog to stay in a crate. What? And then people were talking about why crate training is illegal in their country, and oh my gosh, it was insane. But
oh my gosh, it is always not the business post. I will say I have had a few business ones go viral, but for the most part, it is not the business ones. But I still think so many business owners are missing out if they're not on Threads. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Before we dive in, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Zara. I am an online business manager. I have a very lean agency, so I work with 2 to 3 assistants, depending on what my client load looks like. And what that means is that you are the talent, and I make sure the machinery runs properly, right? So I am behind the scenes and making sure that the talent gets done in the best way possible. My clients think I'm a magician, but I am not. I just help them manage their systems, their internal projects, and some of their contractors.
Part-time magician.
Yeah. Like I do a little magic on the side sometimes.
Yes. Okay, I love it. So for anyone who didn't watch the Ordinary Business Summit, Zara was one of our speakers, and she shared all about how she sells her OBM retainer services on Threads. If you missed it, you can catch the replay pass. The link to that is in the show notes, so you can get all the details and the rundown. But I wanted to kind of expand on Zara's talk, dig a little deeper. So first, I want to know, what was happening in your business before you decided to try out Threads and add that to your plate?
I had just moved over from being a social media manager into the online business management space. And I'm a lawyer by profession, so I was doing some legal work as well. And I knew that I wanted to stop doing legal work and I wanted to just go all in this business. And when I decided to go on Threads, it was 2024, maybe about the March of 2024, and I had my first beta OBM client. So, I was charging her maybe $700 a month or something like that. And she was the first beta OBM client. And I knew that I wanted to grow this client roster to 3. That was my first goal. I just needed 3 clients who would pay me full price. And I think my first package was $1,000. So if I got $3,000, that was perfect for me. And because of that, I already kind of had a background in marketing, and I was testing out this new thing that people were talking about, but on my personal page, and I saw traction. I was like, this is actually pretty fun. But I knew that I wasn't in the mental space to be able to do video content and to post pictures. I just wasn't there mentally. And Threads seemed so easy. So I wasn't posting anything anywhere. So I actually started this Threads account from zero. So I didn't, you know how sometimes you bring over Instagram followers? No, that was not my story. My story was that I started a brand new account, and I built it with brand new strangers, people who I did not know, from zero. So I didn't have any friends in the online space like that. I only had 1 client, and I was making less than $1,000 a month when I started.
I really want to point out that you mentioned not having the bandwidth and video content and graphics.
Yes.
Because I know as business owners, we are I don't have another platform to add to my tape, to my plate. And I'm like, Threads is so easy. Because usually pictures and videos don't really perform well. Like it is
Mhm.
just
No. We
text.
ignore that over there.
I know. We're like, boo, we don't want to see it. So I love that you like mentioned that. So where else do you market your business right now?
So right now I have a few things over on Instagram because I think it's a great way to get people to kind of get to see who you are, and it adds a lot to like your brand overall. So I do post on Instagram sporadically, not very often. And I'm also dabbling with YouTube just so that I can
Mm.
have some long form SEO type content out there. I know you're a SEO person, so you do
Mm-hmm.
get that. But those are only my two places.
And do you do any email marketing or are you strictly on social?
I haven't done any email marketing all year. Last year, no, lie. I haven't done any email marketing for my OBM retainer offer at all. It's still very new. I started doing all this email marketing for my maternity leave offer because I do have a maternity leave planning for entrepreneurs offer. So I have a list of less than 100 people because it's very new.
Mm-hmm.
I I didn't like email marketing. I've never been a fan. I don't read my emails. So I'm like, I kind of bring that energy, but I do want to get into a little bit more email marketing.
Yeah. Feel you. I'm not a fan of email marketing. I do
Yeah.
it reluctantly.
Yeah. Like, take my cold hands and write these emails. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I'm curious if you remember, like, I know you mentioned you were starting the new business.
Hmm.
Did you, like, have any idea, like, what Threads was like? Did you see people talking about it? Were you just curious?
That's a good question. So, even though it was a new business, I was not new to business. So at this point, I was in business for the past 3, 4 years, and I already knew that Instagram wasn't working for me in the way I wanted it to work. And then what I have the privilege of is I have a great personal brand that Instagram works perfectly for. So
Mm.
my friend who helps me with my marketing sometimes she says, if you sell a plastic bag on that personal brand page, people will buy it. But that page, I was building that community on a separate topic altogether about like life and kind of like from an influencer point of view for the past decade. So I have a very warm audience over there. I also understood the intricacies of how long it kind of takes to build community and how long it takes. And I didn't have that time. I needed quick injection into this business because I needed to pay my bills. So I knew that I needed something to give me that. I didn't knew what that thing was. And then when I was playing around with Threads because I did move all the people who would follow me from my personal brand onto Threads. And it felt like Twitter. It felt like old time Twitter when we were there kikiing,
Mhm.
back in the day before Twitter. Millennials will know before it got corrupt. It used to be the
Yeah.
spot, right?
Mhm.
So it felt very old school social media, which is actually being social. And I really missed that about social media because we've commercialized everything and we've brandivized everything.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is actually fun. So I stumbled upon it. It was just something I was like, let's try this out. And I found that I ended up liking it. So it was kind of like I knew exactly what I needed based on where I was in marketing. And I was just trying different. I knew I was going to say no to Instagram. I was like, let's try this. My second bet would have been TikTok, but I didn't like the type of buyer that TikTok produces sometimes. I think TikTok works better, in my opinion, for um cheaper products. And I knew
Mhm.
that this was a higher ticket offer and I didn't need a volume. So I just needed somewhere where I could make direct contact with these CEOs who I was trying to reach out to. And it worked.
I love that you are so aware of, like, the buyers and where they are,
Hmm.
and also keeping in mind the volume. Because even I sometimes forget about that. If I'm like, "Oh, I only had, like, 7 people sign up for this," or, like, "Click this link," or whatever. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, "Jessica, you don't even need that many people." Like, I think I work with 12, 15 clients a year, and so I'm like,
Hmm.
it sometimes feels like more than that, and then I'm like, "Oh, wait, I don't need millions of people. I'm not trying to get millions of people." So, I think that's always
Yeah,
something to be aware of.
for
Um,
sure.
has Threads, like, changed how you think about, like, marketing or interacting with people?
I think Threads brought it back to basics for me. So I think it made social media fun again for
Mm.
me. and it
Same.
didn't feel like a chore anymore. So it really changed that entire concept for me. It also helped me to kind of accept the type of business owner I want to be. I want to make sure that I'm sitting in a obviously it's work. No matter how they said that you must do something and you never have to work a day in your life, they lied, okay? It's still work. But it felt good knowing that I was doing this and I didn't have to exert so much energy. And for a long time, that's what Instagram felt like. And I was like, okay, this is the type of marketing I want to do. So it helped me to redefine my priorities and to be honest with myself about capacity, bandwidth, spaciousness, and the ability to where can I be consistent? Where can I show up? That was the biggest question in my head. So yes, it definitely helped to my thought processes evolved. It shifted from, oh, I have to post 5 times a week on Instagram to I have to show up wherever it is that I can be consistent and start building that brand there. And for me, this year just ended up being Threads.
Yes. Okay, so you were talking about capacity, and so I'm
Yeah.
curious, how does Threads fit into like your day-to-day schedule? Do you have like set times? Are you like me and you're just like whenever I feel like it?
So the reason Threads works for me is because I'm an impulsive thinker, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think also when you think about social media platforms, you have to think about your personality. I'm a chatty, impulsive thinker person, and those do very well because I just post what I think. I don't overthink. I just say whatever is on my brain. I maybe have a client call or maybe stumble upon an issue or whatever, and I just talk. So yeah, no, I don't have a strategy. I don't have, I tried it. I tried to have a strategy when I was trying to launch my maternity leave toolkit offer. I was like, I'm going to post this type of thread. That did not work. The more impulsive I am, the better results I get. I also think that because I'm just kind of tweeting, it feels like a public group chat. And then I've also
Yes.
named all my friends, coworkers. So it feels like we're all working together. And I'm just talking like if I'm in a staff room. You think about being in a staff room. So Threads is like my staff room. I actually
Mm-hmm.
don't go on Threads after work hours. I don't go on Threads on the weekends, which is so funny. But my brain has compartmentalized it to these are my work friends. And I've always been that annoying coworker when I was in a brick and mortar who would be like, hey guys, what's going on? I brought you some gifts because my mom brought over she baked some goodies. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been that person. So kind of translating it into the online space it was very seamless. So yeah, there is no plan. I just kind of go about it, which is good and bad because what ends up happening is if I'm busy, then Threads doesn't see me, so I don't get super consistent. So for Q4, I'm going to be testing out some repurposing. So
Mm.
then at least those get scheduled and then I still show up with leaving a lot of room for my impulsive thoughts. So we'll
Ooh,
see how it
yes.
works.
I like it. I like it. We might have to bring you back. I like to tell people that Threads is like the water cooler. Like you said, like the staff
Yes.
room. I'm like,
Yes.
it is where we just chit chat and like get to know each other.
Mhm.
And like, yes, there are some people like talking about business stuff,
Yeah.
but it is really the stuff that gets a lot of engagement
It's the non-business stuff.
is the non-business stuff, the personal things,
Yeah.
like hot takes, etc.
Mhm.
Which leads me to, if the business content doesn't quote unquote perform as well,
Mhm.
what makes you keep coming back to Threads? And what other things also have you gotten, quote unquote, gotten out of Threads besides clients?
That's a very good question. So what ends up happening is that the non-business content attracts people. So you end up attracting people who have very similar values, very similar viewpoints. You guys are working on similar things. And you have similar interests. So it does that attraction. Now, when they're there, usually, even though it's personal content, is usually like personal business-ish. Um, Even if it's about my dog, we're tacking on some other business stuff throughout the day. So then it kind of shows you what you're going to be getting. I also have a pretty optimized profile, so you kind of know that it's going to be chaotic business around here. So once people come, they know what they're going to be getting. So that's two. And then what ends up happening is that people come And then the other content that doesn't really get engagement, it helps to like nurture people. It helps to so for people to learn because they know that they're going to get either a hot take, a difference in opinions, they're going to see a different perspective type of thing. So then that's what actually does the conversion. So the attraction helps to bring people in, and the conversion actually happens when you start like positioning yourself as a thought leader. And then most importantly, I would say one of the best things I've gotten out of Threads are the friends that I've made more than the clients,
Mhm.
because what ends up happening is that those friends send clients to me,
Mhm.
right? And I have got this also in my presentation. I even shared pictures, guys, of the people who I've met through Threads. We've gone to different countries together in a year. This happened all in a year. I've made some of the best business friends because I didn't have any business friends before. I was in business for 3, 4 years before, but I didn't have any business friends because that doesn't happen as easily in the Instagram bubble
Mm.
in the time I got there as a business owner.
Mhm.
And that didn't translate to real life relationships yet. So I got great business friends in multiple industries, people who maybe will never hire me. And that's been so amazing because as a business owner and you're in the online space, it can get lonely because you're not going in person. That's one. And then two, it ends up getting so competitive because all you're doing is comparing yourself to these great people who have these great brands, these great websites, and you don't really get to see the real people behind it. But Threads pulls back all of those things, and you get to really see people for who they are. You get to hear their values, the things that they represent, the things that they're advocating for. And then you get to know, make such a conscious decision outside of the glitz and glamour to say, I would want to be that person's friend. Or, we vibe on so many things. And then it helps you now to say, okay, at least you have somewhere where you can go around, so you can share ideas, you can just co-work together, even if it has nothing to do with that. And that's been one of the most rewarding developments in my career so far, because it feels like this is a space that I have people and a space where I belong. And that's something that anybody wants, regardless of if you're working online or in person or hybrid. Everybody wants connection and community. So that has definitely been one of my biggest. That's how I met you, Jess.
I know. I was literally gonna say that's how we
Yeah.
found each other was Threads.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with all of what you said about like the connections and the friends.
Hmm.
I have felt for several years like I was a little bit in my own bubble, like in Instagram and
Yes,
Facebook. Like I knew these people and I've known these people for many years, and I was like, oh, I need to expand my network. That sounds
for sure.
so buzz markety, but I have realized that I've met so many new people because the Threads
Yes.
algorithm is top tier. Like,
Yes.
we like to
Yeah.
complain about the Instagram algorithm, but Threads algorithm is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
It will put you where you need to be.
Yeah, I have gotten like 1 or 2 clients from Threads, but I've gotten
Hmm.
so many like referral partners,
Yes.
podcast people. It's how the Ordinary Business Summit
Mm.
and podcast
Came
came to,
about.
like, that's where it
Yep.
came from. And
Yeah.
so I think yes, it can be a quote unquote marketing channel, but I think it's
Yeah.
also just a good way to bring in like new connections for all these
Correct.
other things. And so
Yeah.
this
And then
sounds,
through them, you may get clients too. So
yes.
it's a win-win.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, this episode basically, I feel like we're a Threads commercial.
Yes.
So,
Pay us. Pay us,
Meta, if you
Meta.
wanna if you wanna send over some, like, money.
Sponsor us. Sponsor the Ordinary Summit.
Yes, please. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your insight about Threads and
Yeah,
all that fun
this was
stuff.
fun.
Again, y'all can check out the replay pass to get all
Hmm.
the nitty-gritty details about how she sells her services on Threads, if you wanna, like, hear more about that. But where can we connect with you?
For sure. So connect with me at Z the OBM. So that's want to say in the US again. ZEEOBM. You'll find me there on Threads, Instagram. On YouTube, it's Zhara-Marie, ZHZHARA, Marie. And then for my website, you can find me at www.zaramarie.org.
Awesome.
www.zaramarie.org. And I'm always on Threads yapping away.
Yeah,
So,
you can come find us and yap
yeah.
with us and see what we're talking about. But thank you again for
Yeah.
being here.
Thanks for having me, Jess. It was such a pleasure.